entitled Mom Demands I Micromanage Her Son, then Tries to Blame Me When He Fails My Class. For this story we'll need to flash back over 30 years ago, before the rise of online classes and internet-based assignments. I was a 24-year-old elementary school teacher right out of college and had very little experience or confidence. I was, admittedly, not the greatest when it came to parent-teacher communication, as it was a bit intimidating to tell a parent that their child was misbehaving when I myself still felt like a child. I'd just gotten out of school, had been adulting for less than a year and generally just felt like I hadn't earned the confidence that older, more experienced teachers had. Enter Amber. She was an important consultant to several big companies in the area I lived in, and she had an unhealthy amount of arrogance to go with it. She, unfortunately, passed that arrogance on to her son, Dylan, who did nothing except cause drama, act obnoxious and basically do whatever he wanted that didn't involve doing his work. Looking back, I think he had some sort of undiagnosed condition, as he would spend his time crawling around on the floor, making strange noises and reciting facts about the Cold War. The kid was a pain, but he was very smart, which made dealing with his behavior even more frustrating because I knew he could be a great student if he just tried a little harder. The school I worked at sent progress reports home with the kids every quarter, and a weekly planner that included their grades, missing assignments, etc. So the end of the first quarter is winding down, progress reports are sent home, and I get an extremely angry phone call from Amber demanding a parent-teacher conference to explain why Dylan is failing my class. As a new teacher, I was required to have an administrator present at all of my parent-teacher conferences, so when I walked into the meeting room the next day and saw Amber already there talking to the principal, I knew something bad was about to go down. Amber was immediately accusing, rude and extremely belligerent, somehow thinking that I was causing her son to fail on purpose. In her mind, I should have contacted her earlier, spent all my time hovering over Dylan's shoulder instead of, teaching the rest of the class, and basically doing everything short of completing Dylan's assignments for him. Admittedly, I should have tried to contact her sooner, but having her chew me out in front of my boss seemed like a bit of an overreaction. Since Amber didn't want a lot of phone calls, she was very busy. Apparently, my principal suggested that I write a note in Dylan's weekly planner about Dylan's progress that week and include any unfinished assignments. Amber agreed, and since that meeting was the most embarrassing moment of my life, I decided to follow my instructions to the letter. Every Friday I would write an entire essay on Dylan's performance that week, stapled any unfinished assignments to his planner and even started including assignments from previous weeks that he hadn't turned in. Dylan's behavior didn't improve, so he very quickly started to fall behind again. Towards the end of the second quarter I was sending home nearly 30 pages of assignments. He was failing my class once again, so when I received another phone call from Amber demanding a parent-teacher conference, I was ready. She started off by insulting me once again, calling me unprofessional and saying that I wasn't doing enough to support her son, blah blah blah. The kicker was when she tried to claim that I never once tried to get in touch with her. As she's going off about how I didn't hold up my end of the bargain, I realized something. Amber had never looked at her son's planner. I diligently wrote reports and included missing assignments for 2 months, and she didn't check once. I started to smile. Gotcha, Beach. Amber, seeing my smile, asked me what was so funny, so I asked, "Did you bring Dylan's planner? There's something I'd like to show you." Amber leaves the room and comes back with Dylan's planner from last week, clearly filled with papers with a long report sitting right on top. I start flipping through the planner, showing all of the blank and partially completed assignments that Dylan hadn't turned in. I read, out loud, the page-long report about everything Dylan had done that week, including the times he crawled around on the floor, every time he disrupted class with his Cold War facts, and my request that Amber help Dylan with his work at home since he clearly was having trouble focusing at school. Amber's face turns white as she watches her credibility with my boss fade away. At this point in the quarter it's too late for your child to bring his grade up. Please be diligent in checking your child's planner every Friday, as support at home is just as crucial to your child's success as support at school. Do you have any questions? Amber starts stammering out excuses before grabbing Dylan's planner and walking out the door without saying a word. The second she's gone my principal bursts out laughing and I knew that I'd won. Dylan transferred schools over winter break, and I never got a call from Amber again. Recently I remembered Dylan and looked him up out of curiosity. Apparently he now lives in New York and is curator of a small museum about, you guessed it, the Cold War. I'm glad his life turned out all right, even though his mother was a real piece of work.